Hi there. I'm just going to throw together a quick little video on making quizzes. So I'm in Teams, which I have installed on my computer. It should work from the web version as well. I'm going to go into the team that I want to add a quiz to, and you can see I have channels on the left and so on. I actually want to add a quiz to LO2, but we'll get to that at the end. I'm going to sit in my general channel, and at the top where it says assignments, I'm going to click assignments, and I'm going to say create, and I'm going to say quiz. Notice this opens something called forms. Microsoft uses Microsoft Forms to build quizzes, and I'm going to build a new quiz at the top to show you how I would do that. It pops me into a completely different internet window where it's taken me to Microsoft Forms. It'll probably make you log in there if you haven't. I already was, so it didn't do that. And then you can build a way in here. Probably there's two question types you're going to use the most. Notice you can change your title there. You can put a description if you want. And then you're going to hit add new, and I'm going to say choice. This is just a multiple choice question. And I'm going to be terribly creative. I've got two. What if I have a third? Just hit add option, and you can go like so. Once you have some things typed into your question, notice along the left side the little 6 dots lets you change the order of these. I wouldn't worry about the order of those at all. On the right side, if you want to delete an option, you can. If you want to display a message to anyone who picks that, you can. But most important, on the right-hand side, you want to indicate to your quiz which one is the right answer so it can grade it for you. Designate how many points this question is worth. Let it know if there's more than one right answer. And I would turn on required just to avoid students skipping questions. So there's a multiple choice question. Boom, done. If you want to see what it looks like, at the top there's a preview option. This is what students would see when they went to use it. And they'd pick one and they'd hit submit. And it would say, there you go. And then it would view results, or they could hit view results and see what's going on. Notice at the top, you have the choice of seeing this, which is the computer version, or if a student wants to write it on their phone, what that would look like. Top left, we can go back. And there's the question we have built. Underneath that, I've got add new. That's to add another question. This time I'm going to add a text question. Oh, and it doesn't like Canadian spelling. Notice, enter your answers here, and then it wants me to tell it what the correct answers are. Correct answers and short answer are really hard because they have to spell everything perfectly right or it's going to be wrong. I would probably change it to a long answer, which means you're going to go in and correct those yourself. Totally up to you. But that's what I would do. Now, other things that are going on up here, this little thing is to copy this question. If the next question is similar enough to just copy it and save typing, you can do that. You can throw out a question, and these arrows let you change the order of the questions in your quiz by moving them up and down. The one other question type I want to show you in case you ever use this for a survey, and I just did that without telling you what it was, that was a rating. So ratings are just like the surveys we're used to filling out. And the student then is going to be able to pick on stars, or you could give them a number scale to click on instead. You can change how many levels there are, but since I said 1 to 5, I'll leave it as 5. And there's what that looks like. So now if we preview, there's our 3 questions. Here's what it looks like on a phone, and they would scroll there. At the bottom, they'll have their submit option after they've answered. So we have our quiz. Let's say it's built. We've put everything in that we've got to use. Now the catch is we've got to go back to Teams. So I'm going to go back to Teams, which is, again, I've got it installed. I'm in my class. And in here, I want to put that quiz. So I go back to assignments at the top. And I say again, oh yeah, I was creating a quiz. Now I don't want to go back to forms and make another new one because the one I just made is this LO2 quiz sitting here, and I'm going to pick it now and say next. And here it is. I'm going to get to now set to the settings for this quiz inside of Teams. Don't worry about categories because none of us are doing that in Teams that I'm aware of anyway. It says there's 3 points possible. That's because we already set all that when we were building our quiz. Down, I would probably put in some instructions such as, please complete by January 29th. And then some things you can do. You can assign it to different classes if you have them. I tend to build this right in the class. I do want it to apply to all students, although you could set it to specific students if you wanted. So if you have one student miss a quiz and you know the answers are out there, you could make a second one and assign that to the child who'd been missing, for instance. Date due. Well, I've just indicated that this is going to be due on the 29th. Now notice underneath, late turn-ins are going to be allowed. Probably you don't want that. So set your due date, but then go in and edit and say that that's also the close date. Notice that now late turn-ins are not going to be allowed. So when I say done, late turn-ins are not allowed, which is probably what you want. It'll save yourself lots of chasing of, well, I didn't do it till next week or whatever. Then at the bottom, this is going to post the assignment notifications to the general channel. Most instructors find the general channel gets very, very convoluted and messy and full of too much stuff. So since I already have an LO2 channel over here, and I've called this the LO2 quiz, I'm going to edit and say, hey, instead, let's put this in LO2. So this is going to put the notifications in LO2. Now, a couple things that can happen here. I'm going to hit save. And the first thing, if I go to LO2, that's not there. How come? I just made a quiz and I said put it in LO2. Well, interestingly enough, if I go into my assignments, the LO2 quiz is sitting in here now as a draft. Why? Because I haven't actually assigned it. So I'm going to open that back up. Instead of just saving it, if I assign it, something's going to be different here in a second. If I go into LO2, there is my quiz, and there it is. I was waiting for the notification to pop up on my computer because I have it set to do that as well. That there's a notification that, hey, there's a quiz to write. So now your students can click on View Assignment. And my computer's busy thinking. And it's going to open up. They would have the quiz there to write. What you see instead are the completed quizzes, of which you notice there are none right now. You can also, instead of doing it, I should tell you what I'm doing. At the top right, there's 3 dots. If you want to see what it looks like from a student, you can always hit Student View. This is what the student sees. They get to click on that quiz and go write the quiz. Now, where are you going to see it? I'm going to pop back here. If I go view this assignment, in here you're going to see the instances of the students as they write them. And in there, you're going to be able to open them up and grade that question and then hit return, which will hand it back to the student and they'll know that it's been graded. The second place that you could see those, so I'm going to just get this window out of the way for a second. Back in that internet page where my Microsoft Forms are, the responses also show up in here. Now, technically, back to my Teams, the 3 dots on the side of my Teams, I could install forms over here and get to them from in here using apps and so on. Most instructors find it easiest to just get at them since we assigned it in the team and do it that way. I hope that helps you a little bit with the quiz. It's a little bit of a tangled up, go around and around in circles, but it seems to work quite well.